Castell taking over as the title sponsor for this series in 2004. And what, these cars are pretty doggone close.
Yeah, looks like they're running almost the same groove. They're all in the same spot. Marty.
Wally, Kevin Harvick's car has been pretty good today, very good. The last caution really helped them out, got them within their fuel window. They were going to be right on the edge. They were going to risk it, though. They weren't going to be on the edge of making it all the way on fuel. On that last stop, very small change for Kevin. The car does get a little tighter the longer he runs. This is the car he won Indy with. They're hoping to win their second race of the year with this car.
I love that story Todd Berrier told about the 29 car. He won Indy, and Kevin Harvick did his donuts and blew a right rear tire and tore the right quarter panel off the car. And he knew that Richard Childress would want that car for the museum there in Welcome, North Carolina. So he went into work Monday at 7 o'clock in the morning, stripped the body off of it, and Richard comes in about 10 o'clock, says, by the way, that car that we won the race with, let's put that in the museum. Todd, oh, doggone, Richard, I'm sorry, we've already stripped the body off. I'm trying to get it ready again.
That's good as Richards could show up at 10 o'clock, not 7 o'clock, so good move.
Kevin Harvick running in fourth, on Tony Stewart and Johnny Benson for third and second. Harvick involved in the beginnings of an accident back in lap 5 that took Ryan Newman and Kurt Busch out of contention for the day. Harvick sliding down through the grass, avoiding the spinning and crashing cars around him, and has gotten back into contention for a good finish.
I bet you Childress shows up to the shop next time after a win a little bit earlier.
If he wants the car for the museum, he better show up earlier.
Jimmy Johnson by Jeff Gordon for 6th place.
And hey, I just saw Bill Elliott passed by Rusty Wallace, who's what, 2 laps down, 3 laps down?
He was 2 laps down before he jumped that restart and got the black flag and the penalty. Now he's 3 laps down in 29th place.
All right, here we come. Harvick, that 29 car, for third. Oh, Tony did not give him a lot of room. He said, you're going to have to force your way by.
Harvick cannot get 2nd place in the championship standings. With the gap, he's back in 6th, but he could get as high as 3rd. His best ever finish in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series in his couple of years on the circuit was a 9th place back in 2001. So Kevin trying to see what he can do here.
Sun problem has not gotten any better.
Now, granted, we're looking at this through a clear lens where most of these guys have dark shields, so it's not quite that bad as what we're looking at through the camera.
Terry Labonte and Kurt Busch continue to have a great fight for that 10th and final spot on stage. Here's Kurt. He's up to 37th place now. He can get 36th as Hermie Sadler's out of the race. Another 8 laps, Kurt will move up to 36th. Meanwhile, Terry Labonte has fallen back to 21st. And so for now, it's Kurt by the slimmest of margins for that 10th spot in New York.
3 points. Now you know that during the season there's some place that these teams could have made up 1 position.
Oh, that was close.
Talking about the
Hornaday
90 and the 31.
It's Robbie Gordon, Ron Board. Ron Hornaday in front of him in a 4th entry from Richard Childress Racing this week, kind of an R&D effort. That is a 2004 spec car. Everything except the rear spoiler, and in the test day they had here on Wednesday, they ran that car with the shorter rear spoiler that the teams will run next season, and all the different RCR drivers had a chance to get in it.
Oh man, this 3rd position has gotten very exciting as Harvick tries to get by. Here comes Labonte and Jimmy Johnson to join him.
Now let's throw Benson in there too. How about a 5-way race for 2nd?
There we go. Elliott's pulled out about a 2.5-second lead.
Yeah, he's gone.
Bill, what are they saying in the 10th pit?
They're listening. It's to what Johnny Benson's saying, that they may have a motor problem.
Oh, man.
Look at this. Harvick working and working and working Tony Stewart. Might have him this time. Harvick's alongside.
Boy, Tony Stewart is just coming right down on top of Kevin Harvick in the corner. It's making it very difficult for Kevin to make the pass. Not giving any room for Kevin to slide.
Bobby Labonte's going to try this on the outside, I do believe.
Look at this for 24 through 27. What's at stake there? Well, a couple of things. First of all, 25th was the last place that they pay Winston money at the end of the season. And the other thing is, use the final standings from this season to determine the provisionals for the first weeks of next season. It could mean whether or not you get into the Daytona 500.
As a matter of fact, in 2001, the final provisional finished 22nd in NASCAR Winston Cup points in 2000. 22nd. So, you know, if the same thing would happen next year, none of these guys, if they did not make it through qualifying, could start the Daytona 500.
And if that cut line happens to fall at 25th and you could have finished there but finished 26th instead, so on, you know, these positions are important.
A lot of reasons to race hard right now.
Kevin Harvick and Tony Stewart are racing hard.
Now you got Bobby Labonte right there. He's trying to decide who he wants to follow or help push.
And Benson has said, I just wish these guys could do this for about another 25 laps and let me get a few more seconds in front of them.
Yep, taking the heat off of him.
Well, when they spent $10 million to rebuild the corners of this speedway, this is what they were looking for. Side-by-side racing, two equally fast lanes on the racetrack.
They got it. And what's really cool about this place is that low groove really does work. You don't see the high groove like a lot of places. We see the guy in the high line really have that advantage getting out the corners, but you don't see that as much here. They have an advantage, but it's not as great as it would be at other racetracks. 18 is right behind his teammate. Matt?
Well, it's the same race car that Bobby ran so well with at Charlotte and should have won Atlanta. Fatback told me after Atlanta, we're saving this car for Homestead. But the tradition with this car is it typically is just way too free on entry, and then it gets too tight late in the run. But today, they've had to work all day to tighten this race car up on their last stop, and air pressure and track bar adjustment. They may now have the best car they've had all day. They're just mired in traffic trying to work their way to get a shot at Elliott.
Ryan Newman, look out. That's not going to... You don't think he was...
He's going to get a wave, I think. Yep, he got away.
Well, remember what happened at Gut Newman's car in that condition, so...
Yeah.
While all this has been going on, Bill Elliott has literally been riding off into the sunset down the front stretch. He's opened up a 3.5-second lead on Johnny Benson, looking for 2 wins in a row to close out 2003. You're watching NASCAR on NBC.